My name is Mary Wells and I'm a life coach, and this is my first video. I hope it's helpful to someone out there. Yes, I do have a very southern accent, so that's not going anywhere. Can't help it. When I was walking my dog today, came up with an acronym to go along with reframing trauma. And trauma can be anything from something very little to something pretty major. But either way, these techniques work. For me, at least. Honestly, some of it I've read, some of it I have learned in my own experiences, and some of it I made up, I'll be honest, because it helped me. I just kind of looked at, what can I do to help myself, and came up with some ways. So let's see if it helps you. Hopefully it does. FRAME is the acronym, and the F stands for face it. I'm a big believer in exposure therapy for my own personal things. So I believe that you want to fully expose, and a lot of people don't agree with this, so it's completely up to you. But I believe in fully exposing yourself to the thing that caused you trauma to get over it. Like maybe go to the place or listen to the music or do something to smell the smell, whatever it is that's a trigger for you. But when you face a trauma and fully face trying to deal with it, if it's somebody that you want a relationship with, then do it go see a counselor or a psychologist, or get some help with that, some professional help where they can kind of guide you through the process, because they will give you really specific help that I really believe that you'd need if you're trying to resolve a relationship with a person. Now, if it was a trauma of someone that's not in your life and you don't want in your life, then you want to try to mimic the experience. But first of all, you have to face it and fully allow yourself to feel the feelings that you feel, and be angry and cry and grieve it and whatever you need to do. So there's a lot more to that, but I'm trying to keep it brief. So the first F is in facing it. The second one is the first one of 4 actions that you can take. And you can do all 4 or just one, but I kind of suggest really just keep it simple and do one of them, but you can do whatever you like. In FRAME, the first was for face it, the second one is for reward. And so think about it, like, what reward did you get from this trauma? Like, I'm going to give you an example. I had breast cancer, triple negative breast cancer. And of course, I didn't want triple negative breast cancer, and I didn't enjoy getting chemo and radiation and surgeries. But I will say that a lot of things came out of it that were good, and that I don't regret those things happening. One, probably the biggest, is my relationship with God is stronger. I'm a Christian, so for me, that would be one huge one. Another one is I'm enjoying life more. I'm a little bit more real and authentic. I would have never done a video like this before, because I would have just looked at whatever flaws I thought I had, and that's what I would have looked at. But that's just such a shallow thing to do. Shallow people look at people's flaws and criticize their appearances and don't look past that to who they are as a person. And now I just care a whole lot less. So anybody that's watching this who doesn't like the way I look, sorry, I really don't care. You can say whatever you want. It won't hurt my feelings, because I just don't care anymore. It's not important. Another thing that was a reward, other than I'm enjoying life so much more and I'm focusing on the minutes, is I'm doing things like this that I would have never done before to try and help people. I'm putting myself out there to help people a lot more. I'm taking more risks, even in some ways, maybe even with my life, to help people. Not any big, great risks or anything, but just a little bit more gutsy than I probably was before. And I'm not saying that you should do anything like that, but that's just a reward for me. For you, like, let's say that it was a bad marriage. You could say your kids are the reward. Yeah, you wouldn't have had them without that marriage. It could be a job that maybe you would not have done if you had not been forced out of your comfort zone to take this job that in some way has made your life better financially. You have benefits or whatever it may be. lots of things. So think about the reward that you got from the trauma, and that's one way to reframe it, and focus really hard on that. I don't care if you have to tape up a picture or a quote on your mirror or whatever you have to do to really keep that in the forefront of your mind of what reward you got from that trauma to help reframe that trauma. And the A for frame is action. So if you don't feel like you got a reward out of it, or you can't think of, a benefit in that way, you could also look at it like how strong you were to get through that. Like, I did not know, for example, that I was going to be able to handle the chemo and the radiation and all the things that I handled. I was stronger than I thought I was. And I don't know, I am proud of the strength that I had. So, you can look at it that way. There's so many different kinds of trauma, but that's an example. But look for what did you do, or how did you get through it, or did you think you could have before? Just give yourself a little credit for what you did to get through it, the action that you took. So that's the A. And then the M is make it up. This is something that, I'll be honest with you, when I was seeing my own therapist, I told him that I did stuff like this, and he said, I said, sometimes it makes me feel a little bit weird that I want to make something up because the reality is so awful that I can't handle it. And I literally just couldn't cope. So I would make up another scenario. And this could be something that you do temporarily. It could be something that you hold on to. I don't, to me, as long as it's keeping you from being just ruining your life, do what you have to do. If you have to make something up, make it up. So like, if you feel like, let's say that you were rejected by someone, make up a scenario where you weren't rejected. You can be pretty detailed about that. There's just so many different scenarios. Unless I had a person here to help them walk through their own personal scenario, it would be difficult for me to make one up for you. But you can sit there and envision it and think it and write it out, and just keep doing it until it feels a little bit real to you. And then it's just easier to live with that trauma if maybe you weren't rejected the way that you thought you were, or the person you thought hate you doesn't hate you. Make it up the way that you want to make it up, just to get through it. And it's, not necessarily the first choice I would go with, but some traumas are so big that temporarily you've got to do what you've got to do just to get through it. And if that helps you for a little bit until you can get to a counselor or therapist to help you, I think it works, and I've done it before, and it's helped me. And I was assured that that's a technique that people use. It's not, I don't know the name for it, but it is an actual technique. He even guided me through some scenarios where I closed my eyes and we made stuff up. And he said it's an actual treatment. So go see someone and let them help you walk through it if that's what you need to do. Or, maybe they don't think that's best for you, but it can work in some situations. And then the last one in frame stands for existing. The E stands for existing. And that means, if you've already for example, let's say that you're so caught up in something that someone did in their past that is close to you and has hurt you so badly, and you just can't get past it. It could be a betrayal, an affair, something like that. And that person is not who they were then. They're being not so awful to you. And right now, they're in the existing moment. They're being good to you. But you're so caught up in what they did in the past because it's so painful that you haven't processed it and gotten through it yet, haven't dealt with the triggers yet. So you just remind yourself, this is the now. This is not then. They are not doing this to me now. And just keep putting yourself back in the moment, and not the past, and thinking about that was then. And that is another way to do it. You can also, if you need to get in the moment because you're having a bit of a panic attack, you can do the little technique that some people talk about. There's various ways I've heard to do it, but you think about like 5 things that you can touch, and 4 things that you can see, and 3 things that you can hear, 2 things that you can smell, 1 thing you can taste. If you think about that, you can do any combination of that, but it will help you kind of go back and be grounded in the moment if you're having a bit of a panic attack towards something. And then when you get yourself calmed down, maybe you can try to reframe it like that. So I hope that helps someone. I really believe in therapy, counseling, psychology, behavioral therapy, cognitive therapy. There's so many different ways to seek help, and so many people are so against getting help, but you shouldn't be. There are some, groups of people culturally that don't like to get help, but it's kind of like paying for a best friend that can kind of help you. Some of these people really love people and really care about what they do. It's not necessarily a field that makes a lot of money. Some of these people just love what they do and they really want to help you, and it's an extremely rewarding job. I did not have time to go back to school after cancer and get a degree in psychology, so I went with life coaching because I'm an optimistic person. I enjoy helping people, and my life experiences, my age have gotten me through a lot of things, and I'm a loving person and I forgive easily, but I still have plenty of faults of my own. When I talked about life coaching, because people kept telling me I should do it, I talked to my therapist at the time during cancer about it, and I said, I'm not a perfect person, so how am I gonna help people? No one's a perfect person. He said that a lot of the therapists and counselors that are best at what they do got through something, and like addiction counselors, they're no longer addicted to whatever it is, so they're helping people because that's what they're passionate about. So I think, I don't know, it's just, I hope that I've made you think about going out and seeking some help, maybe trying some different therapists or counselors until you find someone that's right for you. But I just believe in it, and I hope that you will consider getting someone. If you just want to be motivated, you could just go with a life coach or something like that. If you want a health coach or a someone specific to helping you find a career or building your career, there's coaches for all different kinds of things, and therapists and counselors for all different kinds of specialties. But I hope you find what you need, and if anything, it's just a really great mentor out there that can help you. So I hope that was helpful to someone. I kept it under 13 minutes, so not too bad. Hopefully that was helpful for my first video.